And I'll go to record.
Record. All right. Hello, I am Thomas Hall, and I would like to welcome everyone here today to Clean Start's Perspective. We're back with these. We're going to have several Clean Start perspectives over the year, so pay attention. And today we're leading off with a great opportunity. But before we get to that, I want to first thank our who we're sponsored by, the CMC, SMUD, Fresno State, the Wet Center there, Bloom Workspaces, Chico Start, and River City Bank. They really help, us move these projects along and outreach to the community. And I also want to thank those of you out there who support us through your donations. You basically, you're our customer validation. You supporting us tells us that what we're doing is important and has an impact in the community. And with that, I would like to welcome Ken Hayes, Executive Director of the CleanTech Open. Now, for those of you who have been around, the clean tech entrepreneurial system in California, you're probably not unfamiliar with the CleanTech Open. But for those of you that have never heard of the CleanTech Open, they are a group that basically provides acceleration and incubation support and mentoring for clean tech entrepreneurs and all around the world. Um, Ken Hayes is in California and it has a really heavy California focus, but their goal is to help build the companies making the technology for the energy transition. We see them as a partner organization and often try to collaborate with them on things because, we need to get these resources to entrepreneurs to help them grow. And with that, I'm going to welcome Ken Hayes and also Steve Barnett, who's their local ambassador, to share the Clean Tech Open.
All right. Thank you so much, Thomas, and to Gary as well for inviting me today. I'm just sharing my screen here. If that comes up, then I'll proceed. And Thomas, thank you for the introduction. I think you pretty much did my entire deck already, which is good. I appreciate that the knowledge and the networking and the partnership that we do throughout California. So as Thomas said, I am Ken Hayes, and I'm the executive director of CleanTech Open, which is really a national organization. We also have international activities as well with an affiliate in France and our Global Ideas program. So I'll give just a brief introduction of CleanTech Open, and then Thomas mentioned Steve Barnett, who is an alum of CleanTech Open in 2022, and I'll ask Steve to say a few words at that time. But CleanTech Open's mission is really to help find, fund, and foster entrepreneurs that have big ideas that address today's largest and most urgent challenges in energy, environmental, and economic development. And so we really love working with innovative people that have created something new that needs to be brought out that can benefit the world and make the world better for all of us. And we like to say that we combine a success for the environment with success in business. Almost all of our companies are for-profit companies. These entrepreneurs are looking to make it big and be successful, and we want to make sure that also benefits the environment and society. But really, for most of us, and me included, our core background is in business and development. I actually co-run a VC fund in Los Angeles that has 40 investments. And so I'm out there to help entrepreneurs become successful. We are the world's largest clean technology accelerator. We are a nonprofit. We're part of a 501c3, and we don't take equity in companies for going through our program. We started in about 2005, both kind of almost simultaneously in California and Massachusetts. And we work with about 120 companies a year. And we're supported by about 1,000 volunteers. And most of these volunteers are mentors or they're helping run the organization. We're active throughout the United States and Canada. And, we used to be a completely in-person accelerator. And then during the pandemic, we went to 100% online, and we're back. And I think we found a good balance between doing in-person events. So we kick off with a National Academy, which is a 3-day in-person event. And we conclude with a 3-day global forum event at the end of our program. And everything in between is done online. And then we supplement that with kind of regional in-person events. Think of mixers or site visits to factories and things like that. But those are optional because we have companies joining from all over the country, in fact, the world, in our cohort. So CleanTech Open is really a network of networks, and we help entrepreneurs plug into the ecosystem. You can see the diagram on the left. We work with the national laboratories, with VC funds, with universities, and things like that. On the right-hand side are some examples of some of the larger partners we work with. Most of these partners are take graduates of CleanTech Open for like longer engagements. So Lacey, the Los Angeles CleanTech Incubator, has like this fantastic prototyping facility, and companies might move in there for several years, as an example. We have regional partners like Clean Start in California, or NECEC in Boston, Massachusetts, that have longer engagements on kind of more of a networking level, and promote and kind of regional local promotion. And so we help entrepreneurs kind of match up and work with the partners that would make most sense for them kind of going forward. We're not trying to get everybody to move to Silicon Valley or to Boston or New York or something. I mean, in ideal scenario, entrepreneurs can remain where they are and build their business locally, and benefit that local economy. And we help give them the window to the world, kind of at large, and those resources that are available. The kinds of companies that we work with, kind of looking at the life cycle of a company, we are really best in the kind of the second phase. So after a company, or even still a team, has developed a technology, maybe they've been getting grants and they're bootstrapping, and they're still kind of in the research stage. CleanTech Open is the very early commercialization stage. So these are for entrepreneurs that, say, have a technology, maybe at a pilot level or a bench scale. They have modest, low, or even no revenue. Located in the United States, they've raised less than $2 million of equity. That is kind of the ideal type of company for going through CleanTech Open. After CleanTech Open, as they begin to grow, they can raise venture funding. They begin to commercialize and go into production. Then there's other programs like incubators and others that are more relevant for those later stage companies. But we really work with companies that are just still trying to figure out what their market is, the go-to-market strategy, and where their first revenue is going to come from. When I talk about CleanTech is a term that's been around for a long time, and it's kind of also morphed. Kind of started out as green, then became clean, and now it's climate. But really, deep down, it's pretty much the same stuff, which is technologies that improve the environment and benefit society at the same time. So in CleanTech Open, we have these categories in the areas of energy, the built environment, transportation, ag, water, waste, which is actually our biggest growing area over the last several years. Chemicals and advanced materials, think of like new battery chemistries or new plastic chemistries, and then information communications technologies. I will say about 85% of the companies in CleanTech Open have a hardware-based component. So it's not just software companies. We actually specialize in helping hardware-based companies. So when a company starts in CleanTech Open, they really participate in kind of 4 key activities. The first one is training, which is the accelerator itself. We kick it off with the National Academy, which is like a smorgasbord of an MBA almost in the first weekend. We run national webinars, we have workshops, we run clinics, we do pitch clinics, things like that. That's all around training. The second key activity is working with mentors. This is really the secret sauce of CleanTech Open, where we match anywhere from 1 to 4 mentors that might be local or they might be remote. They are typically business generalists, but they can also be technical specialists. They can also be functional specialists. And so we match these mentors to each startup in the program who guide them through the program. And then we as well have mentors that kind of can become assigned on an ad hoc basis for maybe a particular area, like maybe say go-to-market strategy or something like that. The mentors are not consultants. They're not doing the work for the entrepreneur. They're really more of a guide, almost like a Sherpa helping a climber climb Mount Everest, and are helping that entrepreneur really go through the process of discovery to find out what works, what the best strategies might be for that company. The third element of activities are showcasing, and these are the events we have towards the end of our program, which is regional pitch competitions. We do showcases and expos. Our biggest event is the Global Forum in October. I'll say more about that in a moment. We do a lot of press and social exposure for the companies. We're very open. Anybody can go to our website to see who the alumni are, can read about them, can get contact to them. We're not trying to be a gatekeeper. We really want to promote these companies as much as possible. And I'll give some examples of the alumni here in a moment. The fourth activity is providing access to capital. Now, CleanTech Open is we're not a venture fund. We don't put money into companies directly, but we help facilitate introductions and events for our alumni to match them to investors. We have about 450 investors that ranges from super angels, angel groups, early stage VCs, corporate venture groups that are all looking to invest in and partner with emerging technologies. And we run these kind of matchmaking events. In the old days, we call them speed dating, but it's essentially events where we help bring companies and investors together so that we provide the greatest opportunity for success and progress for these startups. We like to say that what you get to make your business more successful really falls into three areas. The first is kind of insight about your business. Think about this. In 12 weeks, you're going to learn a ton about not just your business, how to put it together, how to build a solid foundation, but you're also going to gain insight from doing customer discovery, a meeting with the industry and the ecosystem. And it's a very concentrated time. That's part of the second item. What you get is focus. It's really figuring out what's going to make your business successful in the shortest amount of time possible. You will complete some deliverables along the way. I'll show that in a moment. And really, we help facilitate these structured conversations that help you learn about your business and the market in a very short time. And finally, what you get, or our startups get, is opportunities, which is the exposure to the ecosystem at large, introductions, and formalized programs with our partners with, for example, NREL, National Research Energy Lab, or Lawrence Berkeley Labs, Lawrence Livermore. We have fantastic relationships with those organizations that really help our startups get to the next stage. I mentioned briefly the 8 essential business deliverables. I'm not going to go through all of these, but kind of what we say is these are all the elements you're going to need to credibly pitch to an early stage investor. And these become living documents. We hear from alumni years later how they still are updating their segmentation or their obviously their financial model and their executive summary, but they continue to use kind of a lot of the templates and the material and the work materials that we help them develop. And these become the elements of funding discussions and due diligence. I mentioned alumni. We're going to get to Steve here in just a moment. So heads up, Steve. But we have now over 2,000 alumni companies that have gone through CleanTech Open. So I can't mention all of them, but here are some highlights and some that are relevant in California in particular. But you can see Block Power, which is retrofitting urban buildings, raised $266 million, and then last year raised 150 of that. Lilac Solutions down in the Salton Sea in Southern California is looking to extract lithium from brine, and in the Salton Sea, raised almost $250 million. Clear Flame, which is improving trucking engines, was started out when they went through CleanTech Open, they were graduate students in college, just with a technology. Now they've raised $21 million to improve trucks. Spark Charge, I'm going to just jump here. Spark Charge at the bottom. They caught my eye because they were on the season premiere of Shark Tank one year, and I'll be darned, they raised $1 million from Mark Cuban and Lori Greiner. So, and they've actually gone on to raise $60 million. So it's actually really cool to see when your own companies and alumni start getting that national exposure. So now I would like to introduce Steve Barnett. Steve is an alum. He's the founder of Soar Optics, and he might say a few words about that. He's located in Elk Grove, and he went through CleanTech Open in 2022, and so he's what we call CleanTech Open West, which is here on the West Coast. His company was a regional winner and a national semifinalist in our competitions, and he's also since become a Metro ambassador in CleanTech Open. So we really appreciate that continued involvement. But Steve, perhaps you can say a few words about how CleanTech Open was for you, and also your participation with CleanStart.
You bet. Am I on now?
Yes,
Can
go
you see me?
ahead.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks. All right, well, great. Thanks so much, Ken. As Ken mentioned, we have a company, Soar Optics, which is based in Elk Grove for the detection of microplastics in water. Just to put a bit of context on this, I'm a chemist by training. My specialty is in the use of optics for materials analysis and characterization. Did all my grad school, and I'd always gone towards the medical field. So I used to be a researcher at NIH, then moved to industry, worked in industry for a while, started a company in 2010 to sell products for materials analysis, which is still active. And is in fact is what's funding Soar Optics to this point. And in about 2019, the state of California recognized that microplastics were an environmental contaminant that needed to be looked at. And they started a study to assess the best methods to monitor for microplastics. So we were part of that study. There were about 40 groups around the world that were part of it. And it came out with some recommendations, which were okay. They weren't great. Separately, I had submitted a patent application for a new type of detection technology. And honestly, I just had the idea, oh, this is a good idea. Let me just submit it. I had no idea what it would be applied for. And then it just clicked that we could apply that technology to microplastics. And that's what became Soar Optics. But as I said, my background's in optics, instrumentation, the medical field, not in clean energy. Even the microplastic study with the state of California was more of a instrumentation study than a clean technology. It was what methods can we use to detect these things. We did a short 1-week National Science Foundation program that is used for early stage startup companies. And as part of that, one of the other company founders in there is also a mentor at CleanTech Open. And she said to me, hey, you need to be in CleanTech Open. And honestly, I was like, okay. And we rapidly got into CleanTech Open in 2022. So we had the expertise in the optics and the medical area, which had no relevance to clean technology or microplastics. We had 2 mentors. So besides what Ken mentioned about the various stages of work that you do to build up the case for what you're trying to do and to assess the value of what you're trying to develop, which hopefully is valuable, but sometimes you find out it's not. We also were assigned two great mentors. I mean, we're looking at microplastics in water. That's the key area right now. One of our mentors was an experienced executive or experienced in working with executives in the water industry, in the water delivery industry. So he knew everything about water and knew what they needed, what they liked, what they don't like, what the drivers are for getting into that market. And the other mentor was a pure finance guy, 100% finance, didn't know technology, didn't know water. And so it was great because they could fill in those missing gaps that we needed to craft our product and craft our company's plans to growth. So we're still out there raising funds, but to be honest, the California State Water Resources Control Board, at conferences, when the question comes up, when will an affordable method for detecting microplastics come up? The director of, the guy who's in charge of it at the Water Control Board turns to me and says, Steve, when will it come up? I mean, they're referring to us, actually. They know if we can do what they say, if we can do what we say we can do, then we're part of the solution for microplastics detection. So it's in California now. It's starting to roll out into other areas, New Jersey, New York City, Michigan, and those folks also are recognize the value proposition that we present. So, and again, all of that would not be there if we didn't have the CleanTech Open and the mentors and the program that they put in place. We do try and stay active with Clean Start. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not as active as I would like us to be or me to be. And to be honest, that's just a part of real life because I actually travel about 50 or 60% of the time due to a combination of my work and my mom in New York. Her health is going down, so I go back to New York a lot. So when I'm home, for the sake of my marriage, I try and stay home in the evenings. And so I'm not as active in Clean Start as I would like to be. As I think was in the chat, we did give a presentation at Clean Start. I mean, it's a great group to meet other people in the clean tech and clean area. I'll put it that way. All the organizers involved really know what they're doing and can provide some great perspective. So Clean Start is a great Sacramento component to this whole clean tech ecosystem that we have in Sacramento, and the CleanTech Open is a great resource for really digging into the details of, do you really have a company? Will it really be valuable? What do you need to do? And that's what I got.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thomas has his hand up. Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, first off, I want to say, have a good work-life balance, Steve. We appreciate when you come around, but and the contributions you made of joining our perspectives. But Soar Optics has something that is highly technical, and the first time you hear what Soar Optics does, I think most people would be like, I have no idea what Steve said there. So I was curious about how has CleanTech Open helped you in presenting Soar Optics in a way that more people can understand, appreciate, and recognize the value in?
Well, I think the one aspect of startup companies in general, and I must admit, I did know this because it's not my first startup. I had a startup about 20 years ago. In fact, for those of you in the Sacramento area, there's the UC Davis Big Bang startup competition, and I actually had a company in the first version of that. And I think they're on like their 20th year or 21st. So founders, especially technical founders, can fall in love with their technology and want to always talk about their technology. And you have to understand the level of which you need when you're having a conversation with someone or you're pitching your idea. You have to have an understanding and a comprehension of who you're speaking with and what their drivers are going to be and what they're going to be most interested in. And most people in the business community, to be honest, aren't really interested in the technology. I mean, they want to assume it works, but when I talk to water agencies, I mean, yes, obviously there's a point at which their scientists want to know how it works. But when I speak to their managers, it's how fast will it work? How much will it cost? How much will this save me? And you have to know that kind of going in to whatever extent you can. Um, and so the CleanTech Open also helps with that aspect of understand your audience and understand what the drivers are. And again, from a tech, when you're coming from a tech standpoint, you can fall in love with your tech, and it's the old adage, who it doesn't matter how sexy your technology is, will someone buy it? So that's what defines whether your company is going to be successful or not.
Yeah, that's a great point, Stephen. I think um, I would note that a lot of the founders of that come into CleanTech Open come from a technical background, and I think the learning, how to do a financial model, how to do a competitive analysis and things. Like, we're not trying to turn technologists into finance people, but you learn enough about a financial model that you understand what your drivers are, and that you can at least begin to talk the language, so you don't get BS'd by somebody who's trying to take advantage of you or something like that. So, but I appreciate your perspective, Steve, and thank you for joining. I have just a couple more slides, and then we can open it up to questions. So I mentioned earlier that we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're funded by donations from corporations, and our largest national funders are from the Wells Fargo Foundation. They have an environmental affairs group that supports the ecosystem here, and then Breakthrough Energy Fellows, which is a part of the investment arm from Bill Gates, that has been very, very active in our space. And these organizations recognize that they need to support the ecosystem and foster entrepreneurship across the country, in fact, even internationally, in order to raise up these innovations and get them implemented. I'll just I'm not going to go through this whole thing, this entire timeline, but just to show that CleanTech Open is right now in its recruiting phase for entrepreneurs for the coming cohort. So the recruiting phase, basically the application period, is from now until April 14th. And then we select the companies to join the cohort. And then they hear about that in early May. And then we basically kick off the program on May 31st with what we call the National Academy West. So every company in CleanTech Open has to participate in one of our two national academies. One will be in New York City, but for anybody on the line here, the most relevant one would be in Los Angeles. It's actually adjacent to the USC campus in LA, so easy to get to, and actually quite affordable for Los Angeles. Then the program, the actual accelerator, continues from June through the end of August. The 8 essential business deliverables are due at the end of August, and then we enter into what we call the competition phase, where we have pitch competitions, we have clinics, things like that. We have regional finals from September into early October. And then the real culminating event of the entire program is the Global Forum that we do together with Verge. Verge is a really significant conference and expo in our space. It's about 5,000 people, all professionals in climate and clean tech. That goes on in the San Jose Convention Center. So for those of you from the Sacramento area, in the whole scheme of things, San Jose is not very far away. We run a national judging. These are public pitch competitions in front of audiences, an Investor Connect speed meeting event, expo tables, and showing off the thing. We run workshops and all that. So it's really about getting a lot of exposure in front of the real decision makers. And the great thing, for companies from CleanTech Open to exhibit at Verge, if you're just a company that wants a 10 by 10 booth, you're going to spend $5,000 doing that. All CleanTech Open companies in the cohort get a tabletop in the expo as part of participating in CleanTech Open. So it's super affordable and very, very effective in terms of outreach. For many companies, it's their first time doing an expo in front of the professionals. So yeah, I think I've mentioned enough about Global Forum. We call it the Academy Awards of Clean Tech. We also have an awards luncheon. We have outside speakers and others participating. It's really a great opportunity to get national and international exposure. I'm going to kind of finish off with how do you actually get into CleanTech Open. We do have an application page you can go to. I actually put a link in the chat that goes to information about the accelerator and kind of details and FAQs and all that, and has a link to fill out the application. There is an application fee. There's actually it's an early bird rate of $30 here before the end of February. And we do that because what we found is, well, first of all, we want to talk to all entrepreneurs even before you complete the application. We want to make sure that CleanTech Open would be relevant for you and vice versa. So we're not trying to make money off applications. It's really more to make sure that the serious people are applying. And we're happy to talk to you before you get that far. For those companies that are accepted and decide to participate, there is a participation fee of about $1,950. That's for a team of 2 people in a startup, and it's cheaper if one of you is a full-time, as a student, like a grad student typically. And the fee covers 3 days at the National Academy West. It covers the 12 weeks of the acceleration program, covers the regional awards, which go anywhere from $5,000 up to $50,000. The 3-day global forum event, basically everything but travel costs. So there's a huge amount of value in that the fee. And like I said, we do not take equity in companies for going through the program. And so we're really looking for entrepreneurs that are sincere about building their business, want to learn as much as they can about themselves, their own company, and the market around them. And with that, I'll conclude the kind of the formalized remarks, and happy to open it up to questions or comments from anyone in the audience. On the screen here are links to apply. Or you can also just go to our general page, cleantechopen.org. And like I said, I put a link in the chat, and we run a number of events. We have other national webinars. We do in-person events. We actually tonight in Fremont, Newark, are running just a mixer get-together at the Lazy Dog restaurant in Fremont there. And I'm happy to put a link in the chat to that. Oh, Steve's going to be in Fremont. That's cool. I'll copy in a link here so that anybody on the call would be welcome to attend that.
All right. So apply by April 14th, early applications by February 29th. And there's a link there. And you'll send us your slides in case anyone asks for them?
Yes.
Excellent.
And just copied into a chat the link to the Eventbrite for the Lazy Dog tonight. There's a nominal fee of $10, but actually the link I can see has a discount to make it free. It's really, we're just we'll have appetizers and soft drinks if you want to get an actual drink or wine or something, you can buy from the bar there. But it's a great opportunity to meet some of our mentors and some of our staff. Our West Coast operations director, Ryan Hoover, who lives in Portland, he's going to be there. Unfortunately, I cannot. I'm up in the Sierras today, but it's a great opportunity to see people. And we'll do multiple events in the city in San Francisco, and
bring some here.
Palo Alto. Would love to do one. I think we'll do one in Walnut Creek probably before the.
I think Steve knows a workspace.
No. I was actually, something. I've been so busy, and I went to the one yesterday in Pleasanton also, and I walked in the door and I told Joy, I said, yeah, I've been wanting to have one in Sacramento, and I've just been so busy and caught up on things I never got a chance to do it. But yeah, well, you know what? We'll do one in Grove, okay, down in Elk Grove, some point in March, and I'll coordinate with you guys at Clean Start about a date, but we'll do it in like the second, third week in March, so that so we'll definitely do that. Okay.
We got some events in March, so the sooner we can do it, the better. Gary, you got your hand up.
Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I'm going to turn off the video because it always tells me my connection is weak. Very much appreciate helping out CleanTech Open on this. Where Clean Start fits is we're almost like a feeder to CleanTech. So, I'll do a shameless pitch for our crash course that we're just finishing. We do them once a year, but the idea is to get you better prepared so that you are a good applicant for the CleanTech Open. We cover some of the same topics. And then as you come out of CleanTech Open, we offer other mentorships, other connections here locally to keep that whole ball rolling. So please look at what we offer here that can help out. And Ken, maybe you could comment on, there's a relationship between you and CalSeed. We send a lot of people to CalSeed to do their program in proof of concept and prototype development. But I think you offer them some kind of full or partial fee waiver to get in the CTO.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish, Gary, and I'll address the CalSeed.
no, go ahead.
So yeah, you're correct. So CalSeed is a program that was kind of initiated by the California Energy Commission to promote innovations in the energy space that would benefit ratepayers in California. So if you're a customer of Pacific Gas and Electric or SoCal Gas or whatever, or LADWP, CalSeed was designed to promote to help companies that would benefit in the energy transition to net zero. And that program, which is a competitive program to get into, has about 20 to 25 companies a year. They receive a $150,000 award from CalSeed. And then as part of that award, on top of that is full participation in the CleanTech Open accelerator. And they do cover the fees and all that in CleanTech Open. And then at the conclusion of CleanTech Open, CalSeed has their own pitch and evaluation phase for what they call a prototype grant. I think it's called a prototype grants, which are like $450,000. So companies that can go to CalSeed. I think the URL is calseed.fund. And if you get into CalSeed, then you will also be doing CleanTech Open. But it goes both ways. Sometimes we've had companies that already did CleanTech Open, and then they get into CalSeed. They don't have to go through CleanTech Open again, but sometimes they do, actually, because they pivoted and they developed and they have new things to test and learn about. So, but it's a great program. The state of California, I travel all around the United States. We have companies from all over the country. You can really say that California, Massachusetts, and New York are really the states that are leading the innovation efforts nationwide. And so we're pretty lucky to be in California. There's a lot to do. It's a big place, but there are really great programs available.
Are there any other ways that there's like a scholarship to cover the fees other than CalSeed? We had a question from one of our participants here.
Yeah, I see that. The question is, and I'll read this out because not everybody can see the chat. Are there any scholarships for the $1,950? We're both living on Social Security and are highly qualified. The answer is not from CleanTech Open. That program fee, we've actually worked out that the CleanTech Open provides about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of support and services and free events and things like that to companies. So the fee is not meant to drain money from startups. We also don't want to be the last dollar that somebody pays, and they end up living in their car. Like, it's not designed to be, for people at that, with the last dollar. There are programs like CalSeed in some of the other states, like Rhode Island, New Jersey, and stuff. Though they actually also have state programs that help fund participation in CleanTech Open. We've also had companies go out and do like GoFundMe programs and things like that, because somebody has to keep in mind, besides the program fee, there are going to be some travel costs. I have to be honest. For people in California, it's a little easier to get to Los Angeles and to get to Sacramento or to San Jose. But we have companies from South Africa and stuff, and India and stuff, that fly twice to California. So there will be some additional costs, but we don't have a formalized scholarship program.
I wanted to highlight a local company, Tolo Photo, which went through our CEO crash course, then went and got a Cal Seed Award, went through CleanTech Open. I put a link to a shortened version of their discussion. There's a longer one on our YouTube channel. And Thomas, not me, but another Thomas, there's more than one of us, unfortunately. But he highlighted, how it's the connections that he made through, CleanTech Open, and how, Calci helped accelerate him. And a lot of it he basically learned in how to go after and get through the CEO crash course. So we're part of, this larger ecosystem in California that is just massively creating clean tech companies all over the board. I do you have any other questions for people in the audience?
I want to make a note there, Thomas, and Gary mentioned it as well, about CleanStart being a kind of a regional supporter. It used to be that, and I would say like in CleanTech 1.0, let's say 10 years ago or so, that the goal was for get entrepreneurs to move to Silicon Valley or move to Boston or something like that. We've really evolved, and especially with technologies like Zoom and stuff in particular, and the fact that experts and the company and investors and stuff that you need to work with are already located everywhere, that really the goal is to help promote companies to become successful where they are and where they want to be, and then bring the world to them in the most efficient manner. And then travel is necessary, but really promote that local success and that local economic development. And so I think it makes it really exciting for us, because I get the chance to travel around and see alumni all over the country, and I'm proud of the fact that we can bring mentors who may be at the top of their career in California to a company that's located in Fargo, North Dakota, or whatever. It works out beautifully, and really benefits the companies. So I'm happy to take any more questions or comments from.
Well, that's so very true, and I would ask the people viewing this, both live streaming and on the Zoom call, we will publish this recording. If you know of other people who are interested, please tell them to share this recording so that they can learn about the CleanTech Open Accelerator as soon as possible. Obviously, there's a bit of a fee difference between February 29th and thereafter. So please use this to invite your friends. We're so happy to be collaborating with CleanTech Open on this. And if I could just ask, Yulia has joined us. Yulia, you're usually in Poland. Are you in Poland this evening?
Yulia is muted.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, just pointing out to you, Ken, that we do actually have an international reach here, occasionally where this gets to. But Yulia is a good entrepreneur in Poland. She's joined us on several events like this. So, any rate, other questions or wrap up?
Picked up from the move to Zoom during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And glad that she's back. So, I guess any other questions? Hayden?
Yeah, so I'll just make a comment. Thank you, Ken, for all the great information. I'm excited to share with the organizations we work with. And just so that you know, I am a business development project manager at the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, but particularly focused in supporting attraction projects in the clean tech space and our local clean tech ecosystem on expansion and retention projects. We have we were selected for a Select USA spinoff, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that conference. It's in DC, basically inviting international companies to kind of pair up with communities that they might expand in the US. So we applied to do a showcase of our clean tech and zero emission vehicle ecosystem in Greater Sacramento. basically all of these companies that participate are welcome to sign up, and even domestic companies or other companies in California that want to just learn about the greater Sacramento ecosystem. We're still in the beginning stages of planning, but just to this group as a whole, I would love to, likely with Thomas, maybe connect with you all and just, I want to make sure we have our ecosystem in the room. We have the representation to really, it'll be kind of a global stage that we get to showcase our ecosystem on. So I will connect with you all, but just to throw that out there, you all are all welcome to join, and we'll be sending out more information.
That's
Definitely look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear. We actually, when you mentioned international, we actually run a competition called Global Ideas, and I'll put a link in the chat. This goes to the 2023 page. I'm actually, next week we publish it for 2024, but we look for international companies that have a desire to do business in America, and they can participate in a pitch competition that coincides with our global forum. So we actually have the top finalists from around the world fly in to a global forum and give pitch, and they win cash prizes and all. And so to the extent that you're working with companies and trying to draw them to California, in particular the Sacramento area, some of them may be interested to participate in our global ideas. So I'll include that in our deck that Gary can share out.
Yeah, that would be great. And I see that it says apply by July 14th. So our event is June 20th. So I assume there will still be some, they'll be able to apply.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, of course, this was from 2023, so it's going to be updated, but the timetable is still the same.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, Sacramento has an international airport, and the capital is the one that spends a lot of the money. So
yeah,
let the global ones also come here. Also, I know some good bars in the region.
Yeah.
So Hayden, is that an event in Sacramento, or is it an event in DC to highlight Sacramento companies?
It'll be in Sacramento. So it's the week prior. We will be going to the conference in DC, but it's basically gives them, there's also a green energy one in Humboldt County. And then I think LA is doing something with biotechnology, for example. So it basically gives the companies a way to make the most of their trip while they're coming to the conference in DC. So we will have it here. We're still working on the agenda, but essentially we will be doing some programming in the beginning of the day. And then I would like to do some company testimonials, panels on talent, that kind of thing. And then we'll do a few site visits. So we have Cummins agreed to do a site visit at their facility where they're working on their Accelera project, and then or Accelera initiative. And then we are also hoping to do a second site visit. So if there's anything there that you all think would be interesting in the region, that would be just feel free to share.
And did you say June 20th?
June 20th, yes. So it'll kind of be an all-day event.
Good.
All right.
That's great.
Thank you very much, Hayden. With that, I want to give a big round of applause and thank you to Ken for joining us today. I also want to highlight some of our upcoming things. We're having the CEO Crash Course pitch. Stay tuned for upcoming information on this. It's going to be, I believe, on the 14th of March. We also have Power Up and Green Drinks networking and trivia contest February 28th in Old Sac. And we have our meetup on solar innovation, looking at alternatives to just solar on roof. Find out where you can try to build your business with new innovative solar. And thank you all for attending. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. This will be up there. Empower Innovation and our website. And thank you all for joining us. I'm going to close and end it all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
thank
Thomas.
you.
Thank you, Gary.
Yep. Thanks.